I'm Roman Yossi of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Dante Fabro of the Nashville Predators.
This is Philip Forsberg of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Colton Sissons of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Eustace Aros of the Nashville Predators.
You're listening to the Renegades of Puck
with Crazy Charlie.
Welcome to the Bunker. Welcome to the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. And before we get to the No Half Step in Hockey coverage, let me direct you to our home website, renegadesofpuck.com. Once you go to renegadesofpuck.com, you'll learn everything you need to know about the show. And once you're getting educated about the show, you can click on that merchandise tab, take you straight to our classic logo t-shirt, our Pride logo t-shirt, all of our different special event t-shirts, and so much more. All the gimmicks you've come to know and love and expect from the Renegades of Puck are still available in our online store. Socks, throw pillows, wall art, bed sets, and so many more items. As a matter of fact, 85-something gimmicks with our logo on it. We've sold out so that you can buy in. Social media is of critical importance to this hockey operation, so please listen up. Here's how you can help the Renegades of Puck out. You can find us on Threads, X, and you can also find us on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. So please give us a like, a follow, a subscription to any of those services, and also on YouTube. Please help us out with the subscriptions. Appreciate each and every one of the new subscribers, but we do need more of them on YouTube. So please search Renegades of Puck and give us a subscription today on YouTube, and make sure you turn on those notifications so that you know when we're putting out the latest episodes of Renegades of Puck TV. The audio podcast is doing tremendous right now, thanks to the Full Press Predators podcast, the Full Press NHL Network, Full Press coverage. We sure do appreciate what everybody is doing behind the scenes to help us out here in the bunker with the Renegades of Puck podcast, bringing you all the best Nashville Predators coverage. So again, stick taps, love, and respect to everybody behind the scenes at Full Press NHL. Venmo is how you can financially support the Renegades of Puck. If you'd like to make a donation, just search Renegades of Puck on Venmo or scan the QR code that is currently on your screen. Every dollar goes a long way to helping the Renegades of Puck, and we have to make some more improvements behind the scenes with our technology area, especially when it comes to memory storage, efficiency, and things like that. It's not the most exciting topic and the most fun to talk about when it comes to the operations, but it is something that is necessary for us to continue working. So again, thank you each and every one of you for taking the time to make a donation. Again, that's Venmo. Scan the QR code, search Renegades of Puck. Now listen, I know it's time for the No Half Step in Hockey coverage, so let's get to the good. It's time for operation number 809. It's up there somewhere. Time for show number 809. And at this moment in hockey history, the Nashville Predators currently find themselves in 6th place in the Central Division. They've played 7 games on the season. They have a record of 3-4 and 6 points. Has them exactly 6 points behind first place Colorado. On home ice, which is when the Nashville Predators' next game will take place, they have a record of 2-2. They have scored 20 goals on the season. They have given up 19 on the season. Now, I mentioned they're 6 points behind the first place Colorado Avalanche, so let's run down the rest of the Central Division at this moment. Colorado Avalanche have a record of 6-0, 12 points. They've scored 28 goals and only given up 12 against the Avs. Are off to an incredible start to the season. I mean, that was predicted and it was expected, but still, 6-0 is a very impressive start no matter who you are. The Dallas Stars currently sit in second place with a record of 4-0-1. They have 9 points. The Minnesota Wild are in third place with 7. Arizona at 6. Winnipeg at 6. Nashville at 6. And then St. Louis at 5 in 7th place. And Chicago at 4 points in 8th place. They have also played 7 games. The only other team in the Central besides Nashville to skate in 7 games already on the season. For the Nashville Predators, once they wrap up this next home game, it will be time to head out on the road. Next game's against the Leafs. We'll break them down here in just a second. But let me tell you about this upcoming road trip for the Nashville Predators. On Tuesday, they will be in Vancouver. On Thursday, in Seattle. On the 4th of November, in Edmonton. The 7th of November, in Calgary. And they'll wrap up the 5-game road trip on the 9th of November in Winnipeg. It is the customary CMA road trip. Happens every year because Bridgestone Arena needs to be utilized during that week for the Country Music Awards ceremony and television show. So this is typically a time of year where we find the Nashville Predators starting to get themselves together. The CMA road trip is classically a rallying point for this team. No matter the year, no matter the coach, no matter the players, it always seems to be a big rallying point. Now, I mentioned the Preds are going to play the Leafs. It's the first of 2 times they'll play the Leafs this year. The next time will be on December the 9th at Toronto. It'll be the only 2 times the Preds and the Maple Leafs meet during the regular season. Wouldn't it be great if they were able to meet in the playoffs? The Leafs have a record of 4-2 on the season. That's 8 points, 3rd best in the Atlantic Division. On the road, 2-1, 23 goals for on the season, 20 goals given up against. That's a +3 goal differential. And in their most recent action, we'll go back and talk about the most recent 5 games. On the 14th of October was a 7-4 win versus Minnesota. On the 16th of October was a 4-1 loss versus Chicago. Followed it up on the 19th of October with a 3-1 loss at the Florida Panthers. On the 21st of October, it was a 4-3 overtime loss at Tampa Bay. And most recently, on the 24th, a 4-1 win at the Washington Capitals. Now, for the Nashville Predators, before we get into the rankings and the stats for these two teams, the injuries are definitely causing a problem. Luke Schenn is going to be out 3 to 5 more weeks. Glass is still listed as just out. Schenn is officially on injured reserve. Now, when it comes to the rankings and the matchup between these two clubs, in the goals for category, Toronto is well ahead at 3.67 goals per game. That's 10th best in the NHL. The Nashville Predators at 2.86 goals per game is 18th in the league. Now, the Nashville Predators do have a better goals against average per game. 2.71 goals given up per game is 9th best in the NHL, while Toronto is giving up 3.33 per game. That is 20th in the league. In the shots for category, it is Toronto absolutely blowing away almost everybody in the league. 35 shots per game is second best in the NHL. And the Nashville Predators have been off to a tremendous start in this particular category, especially through the first 6 games, not necessarily the 7th game, but the shots for the Nashville Predators, 32 per game, is still 13th in the NHL. Nashville Predators found themselves in a top 10 metric in the shots against category. 28.1 shots against per game is 8th best in the league, while the Maple Leafs are giving up 29.8 shots per game. That is 15th in the league. On the power play, it is in fact the Maple Leafs with a 35% conversion rate, 4th best overall in the NHL. 7 out of 20 is the raw data. The Nashville Predators not quite as good, 20.7% conversion rate on the power play, 14th best in the league. They have converted 6 out of 29 times, so 1 less goal than Toronto and 9 more power play opportunities. On the penalty kill, Preds killing off at a rate of 68.3%. That's 30th in the league, and they've given up 7 power play goals against, better as of late, but still 7 power play goals in 7 games this season. The penalty kill for the Toronto Maple Leafs, 75% kill rate, is 21st rated in the NHL. They've given up 5 power play goals against. Highly impressive individual statistics on both of these teams, but especially over on the Toronto Maple Leafs side of the ledger. So let's start right there. Nylander at 5 goals and 5 assists for 10 points would lead the Nashville Predators. As a matter of fact, all 5 of the top 5 scorers for the Maple Leafs would lead the Nashville Predators in scoring. So let's just sum it up as easily as that. So Nylander, we left off 5 and 5 for 10. Tavares, 3 and 7 for 10. Austin Matthews, 7 goals already early on the season, 1 assist for 8 points. Marner, 1 and 4 for 5. Riley, 1 and 4 for 5. Now in net, the Toronto Maple Leafs have an interesting tandem going so far. Woll is at 2 and 1. Samsonov is also at 2 and 1, but that's where the numbers end in similarities. Woll has a 957 save percentage, 1.44 goals against average. Samsonov has an 831 save percentage, a 4.34 goals against average. Now, let's flip over to the Nashville Predators side of things when it comes to the individual statistics. Tommy Novak leads the team in scoring with 4 goals and 1 assist for 5 points. His 4 goals also represents a tie for team lead in goals. I'll mention who else he's tied with coming up momentarily. Philip Forsberg, 1 goal and 4 assists on the season for 5 points. Colton Sissons is the other co-team leader in goals with 4. So Sissons and Novak 4 apiece lead the Nashville Predators, but Colton Sissons has 0 assists on the season, 4 total points. Sherwood at 2 and 2 for 4. O'Reilly 2 and 2 for 4. UC Saros in net has started every game and has played all but 2 periods of the entire season. He has a record of 3 and 4, a 910 save percentage, a 2.58 goals against average, and 1 shutout on the season. That's got you all set up now for the Nashville Predators versus the Toronto Maple Leafs, wrapping up a 3-game homestand. A little bit of extra time off. The Nashville Predators, for the first time this season, will have a moment to pause and get some practice in before facing off against the Maple Leafs on Saturday night at Bridgestone Arena. That's got you all set up for the matchup. We've got to go back, though, and talk about the Nashville Predators' previous game as they welcomed in the Vancouver Canucks to Bridgestone Arena. It's called the Rebirth Sports Full Game Recap, and it's coming up right after this.
Hockey players are as unique as the game itself, and your uniform should be tailored to fit you. Rebirth Sports is your sports apparel tailor. From shells, bags, warm-ups, hats, hoodies, branding, and more, let Rebirth Sports be your custom hockey tailor.
And don't forget to tell them they do more than just hockey.
Rebirth Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Rebirth Sport, a match made in hockey.
It's now time for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. You give us 10 minutes, we'll give you the entire game. All the goals, all the penalties, and all the important plays that add up to the entirety of the game. We go all the way back to October the 24th of the year 2023 when the Nashville Predators were welcoming in the Vancouver Canucks for the first time between these two Western Conference teams this season. Head coach Andrew Burnett deployed his line combinations in the following way: Forsberg, O'Reilly, and Parsonen, Nyquist, Sissons, and Fajimo, Sherwood, Novak, and Evangelista, Trennan, McCarron, and Cole Smith make up your fourth line. Yossi and Fabro, McDonough and Carey, Luzon and Barry make up your defensive pairings. And UC Saros gets another start in net. He has started every single game this entire season. Slow start as far as events go in this game. Teams up and down, back and forth between the circles before 3:13 of the first period. UC Saros comes up with a save on Hodgson, his first shot on goal, first save of the game. At 4:14 of the first period, Thatcher Demko comes with a save on Dante Fabro, first shot on goal for the Nashville Predators. But at 4:28 of the first period, Mikheyev gets his first goal of the season. It was a long shot that was deflected out high off of the stick blade of Roman Yossi. UC Saros seemed to lose it for a moment, a little bit of a flutter to that puck as well. Vancouver now has a 1-0 lead at Bridgestone Arena early in the first period. At 5:12 of the first period, Thatcher Demko comes up with a save on Tyson Barry. 6:22, Saros comes up with a save on Hughes. 7:30, Demko, a save on O'Reilly. At 9:42, we get our first special team scenario of the game as Vancouver picks up a penalty. Too many men on the ice. 6 skaters is not allowed. Demko comes with a save on Forsberg. O'Reilly tries to bat the puck in out of midair on the rebound attempt, and it goes just wide. A great scoring opportunity for the Nashville Predators right here. Overall, a good penalty kill. That was the only scoring chance by the Nashville Predators. The Vancouver Canucks put up almost everything kept outside, and a really good job by them. At 10:32 of the first period, Demko comes with a save on Forsberg. At 13:44, Demko comes with a save on Fabro off of the rush. 14:30 of the first period, Saros comes with a save on Hughes. 14:46, Saros another save on Beauvillier with the extended pad. At 15:38 of the first period, it's Colton Sissons coming up with his fourth goal of the season, tying the game up at 1 apiece, getting Nashville on the board with a wrist shot that goes top corner after a toe drag. Cole Smith sets the pick and the screen. Actually surprised he didn't get called for interference on the play. Colton Sissons, though, gets the good goal and it counts. His fourth of the season, ties the game up at 1 apiece. 15:38 into the first period. So the Nashville Predators, after looking somewhat lifeless offensively, find themselves in a tie game. 15:46 of the first period, UC Saros comes with a glove save on Bosser, and Vancouver is just buzzing over the final shifts of the period. The Preds, just another slow close to the period. This is much what we saw in the previous game against the San Jose Sharks, but UC Saros is able to maintain things at 1-1. 6 shots on goal apiece for each team, a fairly low event first period. That will change as we go into the second period. 22 seconds into the second period on the clean sheet is former Nashville Predator DiGiuseppe, his first goal of the season. He slipped behind the D and made a strong deflection as Saros goes for the poke check and fails to connect with the puck in the play, and DiGiuseppe is awarded the goal. Vancouver now leads 2-1 early in the second period. So Vancouver buzzing at the end of the first and starting by picking up a goal at the beginning of the second. 2:10, Saros comes up with a save on Pettersson at 3:11 of the second period. It's Hoglander coming up with his second goal of the season. It was a tip in front. Saros never saw it. Vancouver now 5 shots on goal in the period in the first 3:11. And they also hold a 3-1 lead over the Nashville Predators at Bridgestone Arena. 4:07 into the second period. Thatcher Demko comes with a save on Alex Carey. 6:33. Saros comes with a save on Pew Suter. 6:48 of the second period. Saros comes with a save on Myers. Vancouver now 7 shots on goal at the 6:48 mark of the second period. I made notation of that particular number because they had 6 the entirety of the first period, and the Canucks are frankly dominating all over the rink. At 9:18, though, the Nashville Predators will respond. Sherwood's second goal of the season. It was a one-timer off of Tommy Novak's cross-zone pass off the rush. Tommy Novak, all he does is make plays. Sick pass across the zone right here, and Sherwood's one-timer was just an absolute bomb. His second of the season is also the second goal of the game for the Nashville Predators. Vancouver, though, still leads in the second period by a score of 3-2. 3-2. We are halfway through this game, and at 10:03 of the second period, Saros comes up with a save on Garland. At 10:39, Demko comes up with a save on Forsberg. 12:50, Saros a save on Hughes. Saros now going to go to work for quite a while. At the 13-minute mark, a save on Cole plus the follow-up on by Pius Suter. At 14:44, a save on Kuzmenko. 16:31, a save on Garland. 18:40, a save on Pedersen. And again, just like in the end of the first period, the Vancouver Canucks are just buzzing all over the Nashville Predators zone. As a matter of fact, just missing a glorious scoring opportunity as we hit the buzzer. No official shot on goal was credited because it came at just after the horn, but another great scoring chance even up to the echo of the whistle of the second period. So the Vancouver Canucks are just simply dominant through two periods, but the Nashville Predators do find themselves still in this game, only down by one. Shots on goal at the end of the second period. Vancouver listed at 21, Nashville at 11. We flip over the sheet and we go to the third period. At 1:16 into the third period, it's Thatcher Demko coming up with a save on Sissons from the slot. This was just an incredibly glorious scoring opportunity and one of Demko's biggest saves of the game. A reactionary save more than anything, but it doesn't make a difference. A huge and timely save to keep it a one-goal game. 3:57 of the third period, Demko comes up with a save on Forsberg. We go all the way to 7:58 because the teams were really starting to go up and down between the face-off circles quite a bit. 7:58 of the third period, Saros comes up with a save on Joshua. The rebound trickles just wide. A really strong scoring opportunity here for the Vancouver Canucks. I made the notation at this point in the third period, the Preds have evened out the game in a game that's been largely dominated, especially the second period, by the Vancouver Canucks. They had possession. They were first on the puck. They were quicker to battle. The Nashville Predators have finally evened these things out. 12 minutes to go in the game. 8:54 of the third period. Demko comes with a save on Evangelista's drive to the net. This was an incredible scoring opportunity for the Nashville Predators as Luke Evangelista took the puck off the half wall, danced along the goal line, stepped out, and went for the jam. Demko, another huge save here in the third period. 9:39 of the third period. UC Saros comes with a save on Mikhaev. 11:06. Saros comes with a save on Hoglander. At 12:18, Thatcher Demko comes up with a save on Alex Carrier. 12:43, Demko, another save, this time on Sherwood's deflection. The Nashville Predators, for the first time in this game, you can say they are starting to build some momentum and generate some offense. That's why at 13:18, Friedman is going off the box 2 minutes for interference on O'Reilly. O'Reilly absolutely earned this power play for the Nashville Predators. O'Reilly trying to crash to the net and being held up by the defenseman. Friedman preventing him from pursuing the puck and a potential scoring opportunity. Nashville Predators go on the power play, and Demko comes up with a save on Roman Josi. But overall, again, a strong penalty kill by the Vancouver Canucks, keeping everything to the outside. As the power play for the Nashville Predators is expiring, the arm goes up again, 15-19. So 1 second after the previous power play expires, the Nashville Predators are going back on the power play. Myers is off to the box, this time 2 minutes for cross-checking on Parsonen. He was just wearing Parsonen out in front of the net. Luke Evangelista, though, before the Nashville Predators can get any momentum going on the power play, and it was a slow start to this power play. Luke Evangelista is off to the box, 2 minutes for interference. That's going to lead to a 4-on-4 scenario for 35 seconds, which leads to a Vancouver power play for 1 minute and 25 seconds. Now the Nashville Predators shorthanded for the first time in this game, only a minute and 25 seconds worth, but they come up strong, played good, hard defensive hockey here, allowing the Preds to get the 6-on-5 opportunity. First attempt at it, 18:49, but as soon as UC Saros left the crease, there was a whistle. So after the Preds get control of it again in the final minute and the 6-on-5 opportunity, we see absolute and total chaos. As a matter of fact, we would see Pedersen for Vancouver hit the post and miss the empty net wide. Multiple opportunities missed by the Vancouver Canucks. The Nashville Predators just could not seem to corral the puck or get it down into the offensive zone to set anything up, and the Nashville Predators would not even generate a 6-on-5 shot here at the end of the game. Just total chaos as we hit the end of the game, and the Vancouver Canucks do hold on for the 3-2 victory at Bridgestone Arena. And the Vancouver Canucks end up out shooting the Nashville Predators 24-18. That's the least amount of shots the Preds have had on goal this season, and certainly reversed the trend that I had talked about in the preview, where Vancouver did not get many shots on goal and gave up tons of shots, and just the opposite for the Preds. But that did not play out in action tonight as Vancouver holds on in the third period. Preds did finally get their skates under them, but it was just too late, and they could not take advantage of those two big power plays at the end of the game. Overall, not the best game of the season for the Nashville Predators, largely dominated on their home rink, but they only fall by 1 goal to the Vancouver Canucks. You gave us 10 minutes. We gave you the entire game. We've got full analysis, box score, and more coming up on the Renegades of Puck podcast right after this.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Tracy, owner-operator of Strong Style Fitness. And that's me and my training assistant, Rizzo. And we are here to bring you fitness that meets you where you are by offering circuit classes, bar-inspired classes, Tabata workouts, boot camps, guided stretching, and more, all taught by a certified personal trainer, me. To learn more, go to our website, strongstylefit.com. Subscribe on YouTube at Strong Style Fitness. Follow on social media at Strong Style Fit. But most importantly, let's get you moving. It doesn't matter if it's your first workout or you've been doing it for years. Strong Style Fitness has the workout that meets you on your journey and helps you along the path to a happier, healthier life. I understand where you've been, what you were going through, and where you were going, and I want to take you there. We'll see you on the mat. Mwah.
Was 21 out of 24 in this game, and I gotta say, out of the 7 games that I've seen him in, he didn't have a chance against the Edmonton Oilers. That was the team in front of him, but this was a little bit more on the netminder for the Nashville Predators. It wasn't his strongest game, and the long goal early set the tone. Another tip in front with traffic that he never got his eyes on, so that's 2 goals right there that typically do not find their way into the net against UC Saros. So again, 21 out of 24, light workload, 3 goals against, not the best game overall for the starting netminder of the Nashville Predators, but it wasn't the best game truly overall for the team. Let's talk about it a little bit further, but and when it comes to UC Saros, 21 out of 24, all of those saves came at even strength, did not even have to make a shorthanded save in this game. Colton Sissons picks up a goal, his 4th of the season. He's tied for the team lead, and he's bringing more jam. Finds himself in the slot in just the slightest little bit of open space and firing that puck home. An unassisted goal for Colton Sissons. Again, 4 goals has him tied for the team lead on the season, and Colton Sissons just continues being the exemplary veteran for this Nashville Predators team. We talk about O'Reilly all the time now and his new addition and what he brings to him and what McDonough brings to the team. But Colton Sissons is truly, truly a professional hockey player and a professional veteran hockey player at that for this Nashville Predators franchise. Every team needs a Colton Sissons. Sherwood picks up the other goal for the Nashville Predators in this game, and that was a one-time bomb by Sherwood. What an absolute feed. We're going to get to that feed here in just a second, but Sherwood continues bringing the jam now. 4 points on the season. The Gordie Howe hat trick just a couple of nights ago. And again, I mentioned it. If he can continue making his 14 minutes of time on ice be as effective and noticeable as it has been, then there is never going to be a time where he's going to struggle to find himself a place in the lineup, like, say, Philip Tomasino is at this moment in time. Tommy Novak picks up the only assist for the Nashville Predators in this game. So yes, 2 goals, only 1 assist. Sissons had an unassisted goal. Sherwood only had 1 assist on his goal, and it came from Tommy Novak. And what a sweet, sweet pass this was. All he does is make plays. That's what I'm going to say about Tommy Novak every single time we talk about him in the analysis. Novak carried the puck across the line, led the rush, holds, sets the pass across the zone diagonally perfectly for Sherwood to one time. I think it was 90+ mile an hour one-timer by Sherwood. So Novak sets it up just perfectly. And again, I'm just going to keep repeating this. All he does is make plays. Tommy Novak is truly proving that he belongs in the NHL and at a very, very high level, leading the team in scoring 4 goals, 1 assist, 5 points overall on the year. Impressed all the time by Tommy Novak. Now, those were some positives. They didn't sound so positive, did they? Now, let me ask you this, though. Where's Philip Forsberg? I understand. Philip Forsberg on the season has 5 points. He has a goal and 4 assists in 7 games, but does it seem like he's really struggling out there? And this is the play I really wanted to bring up. In the third period, when the Nashville Predators are down by 1, and you have a 40-goal scorer and your premier goal scorer on the ice, and he's looking to do his thing and make some magic, glorious power play opportunity just slid right off of his stick at the side of the net. That was the moment where you thought Philip Forsberg's going to throw the Predators on his back right here. He's going to tie this game up against the Vancouver Canucks, and the Preds are going to be in business. But Philip Forsberg unable to convert right there. And while he has been buzzing and he has been shooting the puck, it just doesn't seem like Philip Forsberg's got his game yet. The only goal he scored so far in the season comes from long range. And look, I know everybody had a lot of fun talking about that goal and breaking that down, but after 7 games, Philip Forsberg's only goal on the season comes from a slap shot out on the top of the circle. And I don't care how many of his friends tweet or X or Facebook or Instagram about it. I mean, George Kittle talking about Philip Forsberg scoring a goal makes no difference to anybody here in Nashville or frankly to anybody. So Philip Forsberg needs to start showing up. There's a lot of youth. There's a lot of players on this team who need his goal scoring. And I'm going to say the same thing for the captain, Roman Josi. He needs to be one of the Nashville Predators' best player on the ice every night. You have to forgive him from time to time, but this one was a really tough one. The captain, Roman Josi, had 26-41 in total time on ice, almost half of the game. 3:51 in power play time, only generated 1 shot on goal, and had 0 points in this game. The Preds had 3 power play opportunities, and he was unable to quarterback the power play successfully. We expect the captain, Roman Josi, to be scoring more than he is. He's not even in the top 5 in points for the Nashville Predators at this point, and he typically is near the very top, if not at the top. So when Forsberg and Josi do not show up on the stat sheet in a game, that is going to make it difficult for the Nashville Predators to secure victory points or anything else in any game. But the rest of the team, they did hang in there and they did try to fight. But again, 26-41 in time on ice, 3:51 on the power play, and only 1 shot on goal is not the production you expect or need from the best player on the entire ice in this game. The power play also awful, 0 for 3. They had their chances. Philip Forsberg let one slip by. O'Reilly had the rebound opportunity. Aerial swat did not go into the net. So for the Nashville Predators, another special teams situation that cost them in this game. The power play is 14th in the NHL. They have converted 6 times, and they have looked better as of late. But in this game, they did not have it on the power play, and unfortunately, that's what's going to end up dooming them and not disallowing them from even picking up a single point on home ice against the Vancouver Canucks in a game that once they finally got their skates under them, I fully expected them to come back in the third period and at least force overtime. But those 3 particular negatives that I mentioned in a row, Forsberg, Josi, and the Preds power play all kind of doomed the Predators even late in that game when they had their opportunities. Only 1 penalty kill situation. Preds were perfect on that one, so I wanted to point that out. That's good since they have the 30th rated penalty kill in the league, killing off everything in the game, which was only a minute and 30 seconds worth of PK time, but they were able to accomplish that. Now, let's take a quick break. Let's come back. Let's get into the cold, hard numbers. It's called the box score right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast. I want to hear from Stripe Digital Solutions, keeping the website up, maintained, helping us out with our social media presence and all of those things, all the things that are critically important in today's business world. Here's the commercial, and here's some words from Stripe Digital Solutions on the Renegades of Puck podcast. The digital environment can be quite intimidating, time-consuming, and cumbersome, especially with all those other areas that need attention at your business, and that's why Stripe Digital Solutions is here to help. I know because that's exactly what Stripe Digital Solutions did for me and the Renegades of Puck. From designing my home website and helping me create my merchandise to special event posters, brand building, and social media management. But it's not just that, it's so much more. Stripe Digital Solutions has helped me every step of the way. From startup to full-time operation, Stripe Digital Solutions has been there to assist and advise every single step of the journey. In today's fast-paced world, the path to success is having a strong digital partner, and nobody is better in the trenches than Brandy and Stripe Digital Solutions. Get the solution before it's even a problem with Stripe Digital Solutions. Welcome back, Renegades of Puck podcast. Let's get into the good, cold, hard numbers. It's time for the box score. The box score doesn't offer a whole lot to look at. There's not a lot of circles on that box score for the Nashville Predators. There's a whole lot of notes at the bottom, though, and not many of them are good. It was, in fact, Sherwood and Sissons with the goals for the Nashville Predators, and that's the end of the goals category. On the assists, even slimmer than that. Tommy Novak with the only assist for the Nashville Predators in this game. When it comes to shots on goal, Philip Forsberg did lead the team in total shots on goal with 4, and then it was Alex Carrier generating 3, and then a couple of others with 2, Sherwood Sissons with 2, and Fabro also with 2. Just wanted to point out those numbers since the Predators had so few shots on goal in this game. Even getting to 2 seems like an accomplishment. But again, the captain, Roman Josi, only at 1 shot on goal for the game. Highly unusual, irregular, if you will. When it comes to block shots, Alex Carey continues the dominance in this category. 6 more block shots led the game in this one. 3 for Fabro, 3 for McDonough. And when it comes to Carrier and McDonough, I've talked about this a couple of times already. 9 block shots between the two of them in this game as a defensive pairing. The work they're doing together on the penalty kill. Everything that Ryan McDonough has in his toolbox is rubbing off on Alex Carey, and Alex Carey was already a very, very good young defenseman in this league. He is moving from young defenseman to solid professional blue liner out there, and everything about his game is improving. Alex Carey right there at the top of the league in block shots, leading the team in block shots. 20 minutes and 6 seconds of total time on ice in this game. And again, Alex Carey, we need to talk about him on a regular basis on the show because he is putting up that level of performance through the first 7 games of the season. Moving over to the hits category, the physical part of the game, Philip Forsberg did lead the Nashville Predators in hits with 5. Again, led the team in shots on goal with 4, led the team in hits with 5, but was a -2 with 0 points in the game. You expect more out of Philip Forsberg on the other statistical categories, not the physical side of things. Cole Smith had 4 hits in this game. Other than that, was not really very noticeable. And also on the Roman Josi had 3 hits in this game. Again, Roman Josi, Philip Forsberg in leading in the hits category. That's not where you want those players. You want those players on the scoring side, all the way to the left side of the box score ledger. When it comes to time on ice, it was 21:38 total time on ice for Ryan O'Reilly. It was 20:54 for Philip Forsberg. And I circled another one. I actually put a box around it to make sure I had extra emphasis on the situation. Fujimo, 9:38 in total time on ice. 1:34 of that on the power play, but for some reason seemed like his time was limited as the game went along. I guess the coaching staff felt that he wasn't performing. I felt in his early couple of shifts he was noticeable out there, not credited with a shot on goal, but I did feel that he was out there getting things done just like he did in the previous game. So Fujimo not getting enough opportunities in this game, only 9:38 in total time on ice. When you're down there with Michael McCarron at 8:26 in total time on ice, and you're the only 2 players under 10 minutes. In fact, you're the only 2 players under 14 minutes out there on the lineup for the forwards. It's not a great look. You got to wonder if Fudi or Tomasino is going to get a look in the next game for the Nashville Predators after they have a couple of days of practice. That was time on ice for the forwards, time on ice for the defensemen. The captain, Roman Josi, I've already mentioned it a couple of times, 26-42, damn near half the game, but not as effective as you would expect the captain to be. And 20:54 is second time on ice. That's going to be Ryan McDonough. And then third time on ice of the defenseman, 20:06. That's Alex Carey. So 3 defensemen over 20 minutes, 3 defensemen under 20 minutes. Barry at 18:07, Fabro at 16:55, and Luzon the least amount of time of all the defensemen, 14:08 in total. Power play time on ice. 0 for 3 and frankly ineffective. Not able to generate many good shots, many good scoring chances, and made the Vancouver Canucks penalty kill look a lot better than it actually is. 3:54 was the most power play time on ice. That came from Luke Evangelista. Philip Forsberg had 3:49, and then you saw Ryan O'Reilly at 3:20, Tommy Novak at 3:14. No conversions for the power play. 3:51 for the captain, Roman Josi. Barry out there for 2:11 of that power play situation. Alex Carrier getting rewarded for all of his good, strong play as of late. 1:36 in power play time. On the penalty kill, I mentioned only 1 kill. 1:08 in PK time for Alex Carrier. 1:04 for McDonough, and they did not give up a single shot on goal against during that 1 penalty kill. Now you see Saros in net, 21 out of 24, 3 goals against, 21 even strength saves, no power play saves, no shorthanded saves, and overall, not the best effort that he's put in this season. Certainly did not seem as crisp and did not put up as clean a game as you come to expect from UC Saros time in and time out at Bridgestone Arena. So that does it. Vancouver wins this game 3-2. The Nashville Predators took a long time to get their skates underneath them, but when they finally did, they were able to compete and they were able to convert, and they found themselves in another one-goal game in the third period, and it was late. Let's just wrap up the box score right there, and let's convert over to this final thought to close the show. The Vancouver Canucks beat the Nashville Predators at their own style. Let's call this a learning curve game. Let's call it a learning curve. I think that's a good way to describe where the Nashville Predators were at with the Vancouver Canucks last night. The Vancouver Canucks, young, fast, looking to spread the play out, looking to spring offensive rushes, looking to generate offense, playing a tenacious style out there, being incredibly active and aggressive. Does all of these things sound familiar to you? Because they looked familiar to me when I was watching that game and taking my notes. The Vancouver Canucks are a team that is further along in playing a similar style that the Nashville Predators are implementing. So you see the Vancouver Canucks off to a very good start to this season. Their offense is starting to click. They're getting some goaltending, and their defense last night, the Nashville Predators made their defense look much better than they really, truly are. The Canucks are going to give up many more goals than they did at Bridgestone Arena last night this season. They had a really good, strong game. But for the Nashville Predators, you can see it. They're behind the curve at this moment in time, but you see the potential, and you see how Vancouver utilized that exact same style to counteract what the Nashville Predators were doing. They were skating faster. They were faster to battle. They were quicker on 50-50 pucks, and therefore they win the game. That's what the Nashville Predators need to implement. That's what Andrew Brunette is trying to implement. When it stops becoming a style they have to think about and it starts becoming a style that they just instinctually react to, well, that's when the Nashville Predators are going to find more consistent success. 3-4 on the season through 7 games is not a bad place to be. 6 points. Right now, technically, they're 6 points out of first place. They're 3 points out of second place. They're 1 point out of third place. The Nashville Predators are doing just fine considering where we are, just 7 games into the season. The tough road trip is coming up. They usually gel, and usually they get better results than you expect at this time of year on the CMA road trip. But the Canucks outplayed the Preds at the style that the Preds are trying to learn, and they're trying to put together, and you see that it can be utilized and can be successful. Now, the Vancouver Canucks have not done anything overall, but they're certainly off to a very good start this season, and they certainly were off to a very, very good run, trying to make the playoffs at the end of the last 2 seasons with this good young core that they have developed. So the Vancouver Canucks, I think, are going to be a difficult team in the Pacific Division this year. I think that they could potentially be a playoff team. Their defense is still, I'm not convinced on the defensive side of things, but they have a lot. They have a lot of offense, and their goaltending should be able to keep them in the game. Thatcher Demko played a pretty good game against the Nashville Predators in the third period. He had to make some really good saves. So again, learning curve game for the Preds. I would have loved to have seen them get that third goal, get at least a point on home ice, come back, but honestly, it took them almost 50 minutes of this game to really, truly get their skates under them and start generating the momentum that they needed to generate the offensive scoring opportunities. Again, Demko had to be tested and had to succeed more in the third period than he did in any of the other periods. So for the Nashville Predators, take the learning curve and then utilize it moving forward. It's going to be a tough matchup against the Maple Leafs coming up. Again, another high-powered, another fast team, another good scoring, high-skilled transition team. So the Preds are going to probably face that learning curve situation again against a much more established Leafs offensive group. But the Preds can play good, solid defense, and their offense can come around, and their star players, their leaders, need to lead. If they do that, the Nashville Predators can find themselves being successful. But again, learning curve game against the Vancouver Canucks. The Preds did find themselves competing, though, in the third period, down by 1 goal, not giving up, just not able to break through, not on the power play, not on the 6-on-5. And before that, frankly, it just took too long to get their skates on it. I don't know. Maybe it was the weird start time. I heard that floated on the broadcast immediately. Hockey's hockey. You drop the puck, you play 60 minutes, and you have 2 intermissions and 3 periods, and maybe an overtime, and maybe it's all the same. Like, I get it. That was more of a regular start time on the body clock for the Vancouver Canucks than it was the Nashville Predators. Starting at 8:30, not the easiest thing in the world for the Nashville Predators at home. What is this, a first-round playoff game against a Western Conference opponent? I get it. I like what the NHL and I like what ESPN did last night. I like the Frozen Frenzy, whatever inconvenience it made for me and local coverage and local fans getting to the rink and getting home later than normal. It's okay. I liked what they did. I wish they would do more. I hope as they try to implement more of these special presentations and gimmicks around broadcasts, I hope that they can find a way to not have to shift all of the start times by 10, 15 minutes. And the only other thing I just didn't like about it is the day before we had one game in the NHL, and then we have 16 games in the league in one night. And it was fun listening to Butcher Groth scream about it on ESPN, listening to Kevin Weeks react to it. And yeah, the Preds got some good talk and some good coverage because they started later. And so I like what they're doing, and I like that the game is growing and expanding, and they're getting more promotion, and ESPN is taking the job of being the NHL's broadcast partner way more serious, it seems like, this go-around than they did in the past. So I like the NHL frenzy. We'll find out if they can. This was all an experiment. Okay, listen, let's stop talking about it like it's a talk show and start talking about it like it's a behind-the-scenes production. This was an experiment to see what's possible, what's capable, and now they're going to have to go back and dissect that whole broadcast presentation and see if, when, and how they can do that in a better, more successful way. It was raw. It was real. I enjoyed the presentation for what it was, but I think it can be better, and it will be better, and they're going to try it again at least one more time this season. As far as trying to create an NFL red zone type of thing, the NFL is king for this because they play all their games almost, aside from two, between 7 hours on the same day. So they play all of their games practically on the same day. The NHL can truly never do that. Look at the Herculean effort it went through to get all 16 games on in one night. Staggered start times, all this chaos and confusion. But any promotion, any type of broadcast partners doing better jobs for the NHL, I'm in support of it. I'm absolutely in support of it. It was just a little bit of chaos last night with everything going on. That's going to do it for Operation Number 809. Listen, we've given you a lot to talk about. We've given you a lot to chew on. We'll probably come back later this week with episode 810, maybe even before the Maple Leafs game, just kind of going around and talking about some more details. Maybe we'll give you the full stats, the full league-wide picture scope, maybe schedule an interview. But we'll be back in the bunker later on this week before the Leafs game. Good to have an extra day off for the Predators so that they can practice. But for us here in the bunker, we look forward to creating content and doing more coverage, so probably jump back in here soon. For the Renegades of Puck, I'm your host and Captain Crazy Charlie Saunier. I sure do appreciate your viewership. I appreciate your time, and most importantly, I appreciate each and every one of you. Stick taps, love, and respect.